Hello everybody. In this lesson, I will teach you how to sketch an exponential function. The general equation of an exponential function is y is equal to a times b to the power of x plus q. And we know this is an exponential function because the x is the exponent. And in this function, b is greater than 0, that means positive, and b cannot be equal to 0. The exponential function always lies above or below the horizontal asymptote. We will investigate the basic exponential function of y is equal to a times b to the power of x plus q. But today's lesson, we will only investigate y is equal to b to the power of x. So in other words, we will choose a to be exactly 1 and q will be equal to 0. So q is 0. So we will investigate y is equal to b to the power of x. Now let's investigate y is equal to b to the x. And you can see a is invisible 1 and q is invisible 0. Now if b is greater than 1, we have an increasing function. And this is what your graph will look like. And this is the graph of y is 2 to the x. If b is a fraction, so that means b is smaller than 1, b is greater than 0. That's how you write a fraction. Then you have a decreasing function, and this is what your graph will look like. And this is the graph of y is equal to half to the power of x. Now the question says, use a table to sketch the exponential function of f of x is equal to 2 to the power of x. Again, my advice to you is make a table with your calculator, plot the graph, and then come back to the slide and see what happened. So I did it for you. There's my table that I made with my calculator, and I chose my x values from -2 up to 2. And then my first coordinate is the point -2 and 0,25. And there it flew in. My next point, -1 and 0,5, 0 and 1, 1 and 2, 2 and 4. And then when you join your dots, this is the graph that you're looking for. And this is the graph of f of x is equal to 2 to the power of x. A very important point is that point over there, the y-intercept, the point 0, 1, and then that is the horizontal asymptote. It is the x-axis, and the x-axis equation is the line y is equal to 0. Now in this slide, we will use a table to sketch the exponential function of g of x is half to the power of x. Again, with my calculator, I made a table. I chose x values -2 up to 2. So the first point that I will plot here is the point -2 and 4. There it flew in, then -1 and 2. The point 0, 1, the point 1, 0,5, and the point 2, 0,25. And then when I join the dots, there's my graph, and this is the graph of g of x is equal to half to the power of x. A very important point is the y-intercept, which is the point 0, 1, and then my horizontal asymptote, which is the line y is equal to 0, there exactly on top of the x-axis. Now in this slide, we will investigate different values of b in f of x is equal to b to the power of x. Now the first one that we will sketch here is f of x is 2 to the power of x, the basic graph. Now, on top of that one, on the same system of axes, we will sketch the graph g of x is equal to 3 to the x. And that's your graph. You can see it looks as if the graph becomes steeper. And then let's investigate the graph h of x is equal to 5 to the x. And now the graph is even steeper. Now again, my advice to you is make a table and sketch the graphs yourself, and then you will understand exactly what's going on here. Before we continue, have you subscribed yet? Or you can like this video, and better yet, please tell your friends about my channel. Let's continue. Here we will investigate different values of b in f of x is equal to 1 over b to the power of x. In other words, where b is a fraction. So the basic graph g of x is half to the x. There's your descending graph. The next one, let's investigate h of x is a third to the power of x. And there's your graph. Again, this looks as if the graph is steeper towards the y-axis. And then lastly, on the same system of axes, let's plot the graph p of x is a seventh to the x. And there you can see an even steeper graph. Now I want to focus your attention towards something. When I give you g of x is half to the power of x, this is exactly the same as g of x is 2 to the negative x when you use your laws of exponents. And h of x is a third to the x is exactly the same as h of x is 3 to the power minus x. And p of x is a seventh to the x is exactly the same as p of x is 7 to the power of minus x. In the next video, we will look at the influence of a and q on the exponential function. Click on the video in the left-hand corner to take you straight to the next video.